Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to 22 Panels and the Milestone Book Club. We're at the end of our Between Compendiums hiatus, where we watched the first season of the Static Shock cartoon from what, 2000, 2001? I forget.
I think
2002?
2000.
This time.
Oh, 2000. Okay.
2000.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Well, we can date it pretty carefully because there's a there's a bit in one of the episodes where the very fancy jewelry store clerk is like, "Oh, yes, this is our latest watch. It comes with a pager and a built-in wireless internet connection,"
Yeah.
which I thought was yeah, oh, that was fun. But yeah,
Um,
end of first
yeah,
season.
let me lead really quick
Of
because I
course,
do
of
want
course.
to say that these are probably my three favorite episodes of the season, with the possible exception of the second one with the stretchy guy when he was also the
Oh,
boyfriend of.
rubber band. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And certainly the first time that I felt like there was a multiple episode stretch with a really felt like it was three episodes with kind of the thesis of how do your parental figures affect your growing up, and how does dealing with a teenager affect your adulthood when you're responsible for them,
Hmm.
Mhm.
um, because this was a lot about parents and kids, fathers and sons in particular, but not exclusively.
Yeah.
um, and I really I enjoyed the three episodes together, and the way they, two ways that could go badly. One, or probably to a lesser extent, both, without even really completely intending to go badly,
Yeah.
versus the one where overall it went well, and therefore there's even more friction.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
was an interesting. I don't think. I mean, I'm sure they weren't made with that idea in mind, but it's interesting how all three of them kind of dovetailed nicely. Although to be fair, a lot of the static episodes in this first season in particular have been about sort of responsibility and about parents and
Mm-hmm.
kids. So it's not surprising. But yeah, no, these three episodes I thought were some of my favorites too. I was actually just looking over the list and like of this season, I did really like the one about Richie's father. Like I kind of, I maybe kind of poked at it a bit for being ham-fisted about racism, but like genuinely, it was a good episode about racism, and also like it was. I thought, the pairing of Richie's dad and Virgil's dad was a really clever thing. So yeah, no, I mean these were good. It's been a solid season. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. I really like this season overall. And like, yeah, no, these are very strong episodes. I think one thing that for me is you have to make allowances. Not, I mean, nobody has to do anything, but the way I look at this season, like I feel like it's important to remember that they really were striking a balance of bringing static and a lot of Dakota, not all of it, with two Saturday morning television. You know what I mean? And striking a
yes,
balance.
yeah.
With that, is one thing I don't think I brought it up last time, but it's been on my mind. Um, I so obviously there's a lot of tropes in
Mhm.
television entertainment. One thing which it had occurred to me when Daisy first showed up, but like I'd been away from the show for a bit, and then I came back to watch these episodes, and I was like, oh yeah, like they did the classic thing that happens with adaptations, um where they're like, oh, we let's lighten up this character a bit, like hue wise, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
um and to the point, it's very noticeable. It's almost like I almost would have just rather they just made her a new character, like a new love interest.
Yeah.
Because I'm not even like get rid of the character, but it is a sort of erasure. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but there is absolutely weird casting, identity math that they like consciously do, and I'm
Oh
sure a lot
yeah.
of people in casting have like uh subconscious bias that they bring to the table. But the great Dwayne McDuffie himself said, which is why I think this is probably more like a TV exec decision or even just the designers, and not a Dwayne McDuffie thing. But Dwayne McDuffie was speaking about how when he was working on the Justice League comic, and he was introducing, more than one black character about the way that in entertainment, in media, it is interpreted as a black comic or a black show or whatever if you have more than one.
Yeah.
And I want to be fair because I know probably a lot of people are like, "What are you talking about, Marcus? Virgil's whole black family is on the show, and there's other black characters." That is true, but there is a way when you look at like the central cast, and I can see in that weird casting math where they're probably like, "Oh yeah, yeah, Virgil's whole darker skinned family is taking up three spots. So like, we need to lighten it up with Daisy or strike a balance." So obviously, I love my black people. All black people are beautiful.
Hmm.
I'm not separating us based on hue, but the world does, and oftentimes people in C-suites do as well. So I want to point to that as a criticism that doesn't ruin the show, but it's something that is worth I think talking about and thinking about because you know one could look at it and like, oh, say this is a one-off or this is just some decision they made in this case, but there's a long history of it, and it happens with shocking regularity. And also, I challenge everybody to think about it when you're watching um shows or adaptations. A lot of people have talked about how Sunspot from New Mutants, like when there's
Oh
different
yeah.
iterations of New Mutants, they're all over the map with his color. You know what I mean? Like he went from
Yeah.
being a very dark skinned South American dude, Brazilian, I believe, and to just in a lot of the other iterations, they're always like lighting him up, changing his hair texture. So these are things that happen, and they do matter because I think it is good to represent all different types of black people, but sometimes when these decisions are being made by people who aren't black and don't understand all of the nuances, um, that's where kind of like you start seeing erasure um, of the full range of black people sometimes. Anyway, I just
No,
want to point out that they lighten Daisy.
that's no, man, that I got it. That's something that did not cross my mind in this. I'm unsurprisingly, the white dude didn't think about colorism. In, I mean, it's just like it's something that I didn't realize. But you're absolutely. I mean, yeah, that's. I kind of didn't think about that, and I didn't realize that that was. Yeah, that's. It's also. I mean, they are making Daisy a bigger member of the cast, whereas Frida was more. Not more. I don't know. I mean. I'm trying to remember how many issues they both appeared in, but Frida certainly hasn't shown up very much at all, at least not since the first
Yeah,
issue.
yeah, and that's probably a Dwayne. Maybe as a Dwayne McDuffie thing because, like, by this point, like, Daisy really moved into the love interest role. Although I guess
Yeah.
canonically in Milestone Forever,
Forever?
yeah, like they did when they flashed forward, um, uh, yeah, Virgil and Daisy and not Daisy and Frida had gotten married. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, it's one of those things where I mean, I'll be entirely honest. I cannot entirely remember God, this is going to sound bad. I'm really sorry about this. I can't always remember like Daisy and Frida's sort of different deals, like who's doing what they're sort of who knows about his identity, who doesn't. Like the things I remember more about Static are like, his villains or his personal conflicts or stuff like that.
right.
And Frida and Daisy as characters don't stand out to me. I'm speaking specifically about the comics. Well, I
Hmm.
mean the show too to an extent. Um, except here Daisy takes the lion's share of all this appearance. So, but yeah, I struggle sometimes to remember like wait was this Daisy or was this Frida who had the
Well, I
thing or she
think
did this? So
yeah.
it's I feel bad I feel bad about
I
that,
guess
but
I guess
also
to that point, I actually think they do good work with both of them. It's interesting because when we enter the series, like, Virgil's like head over heels for Frida and
yeah.
he's and she's like, all into his buddy and dating him.
Oh yeah.
And like those feelings don't necessarily disappear, but then it's like there's a natural healthy, I'm gonna say, evolution where it's like they still remain just as close. And actually, just for clarification, Frida does know his identity. I think she knows it from
That's right.
issue one. Um, at the point that we reached, Daisy did not.
Yes, yeah, that's
Um,
right. Frida he crawls into Frida's room like when he's
right.
beaten up by Hot Streak in that first issue. Yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
Um,
And so it's interesting because it's kind of like, especially if you look at like tropes of like guys like, having a crush on a woman, a lot of times it's
yeah,
kind of like it's like the Steve Urkel, like it's like seasons later and he's still I'm talking about I'm wearing you down.
yeah. Oh
And
God,
but it's like Virgil kind of like naturally evolved, and it wasn't like he was like, well, whatever, Frida, if you don't want to be with me, I'm not gonna be around you. Like they still remain close and confidants, but he also just naturally kind of moved on, and was
yeah.
with Daisy.
And he and Frida have or he and Daisy have a different relationship now too. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's. I I wonder. I mean, you mentioned it maybe being a Dwayne thing. I wonder like whether it was like, oh, we don't have we only have enough voice actor budget for one character for so many characters in this episode or whatever. God only knows. But yeah, it's interesting. I do, and I mean, she slots naturally into the friend trio as like, oh, she's the one who doesn't know his identity. There's a bit in this, there's a bit in these episodes where like, all three of them are out at the mall, and she's the only one who doesn't know. So Virgil has to pretend to be it's food poisoning. Oh no, I gotta run,
Mhm.
and Richie distracts her, that kind of thing,
I
which
do
is
hope they make her figure it out because it's kind of like because she's definitely presented as a smart kid. I mean, she
yes.
met Virgil at the school for smart kids. Um,
Yes, I do hope they give her that. Like that would be fun if it's like,
yeah,
yeah, how could I not tell? Of course it's you. That would be great.
yeah, and I
But
think about this with all the superheroes over the years where they're out with their friends, and then it's like, the stuff's going down. I disappeared, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
right before Spider-Man slash Static slash whoever
whoever, yeah.
like showed Flash, like all of them, and it's kind of like Static and Virgil. He's got a costume, but I feel like if I was Static's friend, I'd probably figure it out. You know
Yeah,
what I
it's
mean?
not
I
it ain't rocket
I
science.
Yeah.
I do think my favorite like um friend figuring it out and forcing the issue is still
Mm.
Superman 2
Oh, where she
when
jumps out the
when
window.
Lois literally jumps
Yes, yeah,
off of
yeah, yeah,
Niagara
yeah.
Falls.
Oh, Niagara
Yeah,
Falls. I'm
it's
thinking of the bit where she jumps out the
also
window.
no. I think it was a window, right? Oh no, no, you're right.
No, it
It is
was
Niagara
Niagara
Falls. You're right. It's
Falls.
Yeah,
Niagara
there's
Falls.
the window bit. Is that from the first? Oh, whatever. Anyway, but
Yeah,
yeah,
the
I get you.
window doesn't he shows up and he for the
He
interview
like
and he
he
flies
uses
her.
well, he does
Right,
the thing with the super breath to slow her fall, and there's the
That's
right.
right. That's
it's
right.
I don't know.
But
No, that
that was
shit.
just testing his powers.
Right.
But
That
it was
was
Superman 2 that she's like, "You're Superman."
yeah.
No, I'm not.
And then she
I've never
shoots him.
seen the
Yeah.
two of you in the same place.
Yep. Yeah, she put it together. Although, come on, that's a hell of a gamble, Lois. I
Yeah.
I'm just like, come
Well,
on.
but that's one of the reasons that I love it too. Is
No, no, I agree.
it
Yeah.
both like proves that yep, he's Superman, you got me, and shows what an utter badass Lois is.
Badass
She's
and also
also
crazy.
messy.
Yeah, she's
Crazy and messy. Because I feel like there's way more functional ways
yeah,
that you could get him.
crazy parentheses positive, but still crazy. Like Lois,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
I mean, that's pretty much like I'm gonna put this gun to my head and it's gonna take me less than a second to pull the trigger, but Superman speed, you can stop me. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, I get it,
Yeah.
but it's still pretty badass.
It is,
Yeah.
it is.
I haven't actually started watching this season of My Adventures of Superman yet, but I do love that version
There's
of Lois too.
There actually no, I do as well.
I need to watch
Yeah.
more of that series.
It's
No,
so
it's
haven't
great.
watched it
And
yet.
actually, to your point, there is. I watched a lot of it, but I'm pretty sure there is a version of that. I don't think she does exactly the same thing, but I think she does. I think they do kind of revisit that. Yeah.
she knows by this season, right? I forget. Well, whatever. We shouldn't spoil. But I thought.
Yeah. Are you on like season 2
I
or?
finished season 2. I can't remember when did she figure it out.
I think she does figure out. I feel like mid season 2. I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I
Yeah.
still okay. My personal favorite version of the thing where it's like you see right through it. It's not a good movie, but Green Lantern does have the bit where Ryan Reynolds shows up to I forget who the actress is, and she's like, "Hal?" And he's like, "How can you tell?" And he's like, "You're just wearing a mask. What? Do you think he has
Right.
hydro
Right.
cheekbones?" Like, That's
Yeah.
my personal favorite version of it. But yeah,
You know what's
but yeah,
interesting? Like, sorry. Well,
no, go
no, we
ahead.
should get back. We can talk about this stuff all day. It's all good.
We can, but yeah,
Yeah.
the idea of what you can and can't hide with the domino mask is
Yeah.
always slightly hilarious to me.
Yeah.
And that actually comes up in one of these episodes. I forgot about that. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, so we've got these three episodes. We've got, let's see here, what are the titles? There's Junior, Replay, and Tantrum.
Hmm.
Um, and I actually watched Junior for last time we recorded
Me
because I couldn't
too. Yeah.
remember. Yeah, I can remember which ones we were going through and what order they were in. So yeah, but yeah, Junior is the first one. It uses the character who is, I think, unique to this adaptation, which is Edwin Alvin's son, who's Edwin Junior. I
Yeah, I believe
guess,
so. Yeah.
who's just kind of a nerdy white kid who is resentful of the fact that his dad doesn't really show him any love, and also sort of apparently resents the fact that his dad is also ludicrously criminal and doesn't shoot straight and everything, and acts out sort of to gain his dad's love. While conversely, of course, Virgil deals with his own dad, and who's much more involved and forgiving and kind and a much better father overall because of course he is. Um, this one, I don't know. It was okay. I didn't love it. I'm interested that they created the character of Edwin, I think, for this show.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right.
Yeah,
Although, I mean, he might have came in later, but no, I don't think he has a son,
I
does he?
don't like he
In the
hasn't. I
comic.
don't remember him showing up at all. And also, I mean, this is more broad than just this episode. But I was thinking that like this version of Alva is different from the Alva from the comics, not
Yeah.
in a bad way, but in a way that is just it's different. Um, like Edwin Alva in the comics is sort of, I mean, partly because he doesn't seem to have like a wife or kids or
Like
anything,
a
as far as we
right.
know. He's a little bit kind of more impish. I don't know. I always think of like there's a scene again the comics that I had, like the random issues of Milestone that I had as a kid. One of the issues, there's an issue of Hardware where he busts into Alva's office, and like Alva's just sitting there, sipping a glass of cognac or whatever and listening to music, and he's just like, yeah, all right, there was a door, but whatever, and he's just totally unflappable.
Uh,
And I forget if we've gotten to that issue yet. I don't want to spoil anything.
I think we did. That
Okay,
sounds familiar.
I think we did
Yeah.
too, because it's also that's when it's revealed that he's listening to Charles Mingus, and he's like, "You're listening to
Yes, yeah, we
me?"
did. We did
Yeah,
get to that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which is another little detail I love. But like Alvin in the comics is, I don't want to say chill, but he's more sort of he comes off as more laid back or as more I don't know how to put it exactly. He's got
I know what
less
you mean.
yeah. He plays it
He's
differently.
he's dangerous, and he's a bad dude, a bad, rich,
Yeah,
powerful dude
criminal,
who's
etc.
ruining
Yeah.
society. Yeah, yeah.
But
But
he's
there is
like,
different. Yeah,
yeah, and I don't dislike this version of Alba, but I mean it's a change that they made because it's a kids show. He's got to have
yeah.
some
That's
nuance and
exactly what it
villain.
is. They made
Yeah,
him like a cartoon villain. Like, yeah.
yeah, and I get it. They have to. I
But
do
I feel like
like the
he
version of Alba.
carries some stuff over. But you're right. To your point, he is like, I think it is largely the format, like
Yeah.
changes with the format. Yeah.
Well, and again, I mean, for an episode to do an episode where it's like here's Alva as a dad, and here's Virgil's dad, like
Hmm.
that's great.
Yeah.
Give him this characters of his kid who he's completely hate that he's like, why can't you get better grades? Well, what I also love is the inciting incident for this, which is that he's opening the new gymnasium, and of course the news is covering it because Alva's wealthy beyond
Hmm.
imagining. Um, and Richie, no, not Richie. What is the kid? Oh, it's Edwin Jr. Right. Edwin is just sort of hanging out there because he can't talk to his dad because his dad ignores him, and he's like futzing around in his PDA. And
Hmm.
the reporter comes over and asks him about his dad, and without looking up to realize he's a reporter, he's like, "Yeah, this is way more interesting than the time that he lied in front of a grand jury." And then all the conversation
Hmm.
just cuts out immediately. He looks up, and he's like, "Oh shit, I was on TV," and that was great. Like that was a great little moment of him
Right.
being like, "Oh, I've screwed things up royally." um, and I mean, it's again, it's sort of an obvious beat, but it's a good obvious beat. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
And then because he's also a science genius, though, he figures out how to make the Q to manipulate the Q gas so he can use it to give himself temporary, specific superpowers, as opposed to just like taking a bath in it and hope for the best.
Hmm.
Which I don't know. I mean, it's sort of a logical type of villain to bring in, I guess. Like, of course, if you have the gas that gives people weird powers, you have one character who can just give himself whatever powers he wants in the moment. Um, I guess it also makes sense that, like, yeah, you've got this character of Alva's kid who's trying to impress his dad, so of course he's gonna, figure this out and use the device for himself in that suit that looks like he's covered in bubble wrap. Um, I don't know. It's fine. It didn't stun me. I am a little curious about the name Omnifarious. Like, is that really? Does that really mean many forms? What's the? I don't. Anyway.
Well, I think
Or is it
Omni
or is it
is
like
for
really nefarious?
Yeah, that's
Like
like
very nefarious.
I'm super nefarious.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I took it.
Well, but he says like because Virgil at one point says like, or he says it to Virgil and he says it means
see,
many forms. Yeah.
Oh,
uh,
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
what it is I think he's being too cute by half because
Yeah.
omniferous is
Yeah. Yeah. Multiple
producing all
forms.
types.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Okay.
But he's like, I'm also
Nefarious. Which
nefarious.
does I do like the
Right.
joke that then when Static hears this, he's like, "You're nefarious." He says, "No,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
nefarious."
nefarious.
Yeah,
That's actually pretty good. I think that's good. I like
it was yeah,
Yeah.
it was
and
okay.
also
It was
he's a
fun.
kid. He's
Well,
a
and actually,
teenager who
no.
thinks he's smarter.
Yeah, good point.
Omnifarious is actually a acceptable spelling as I look at it here.
Oh well, okay, all right, yep,
Yeah,
all
Right,
right.
but
it's in the
phonetically though,
Webster's
yeah.
Well,
I do
credit
like
where
that
it's
it
due, I guess.
doubles phonetically
of all
as
varieties, forms, and kinds.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, sure. All right then. Damn. And then I do also like Static's joke about like, look, I'm in public school. Latin's an elective.
Mhm.
Right.
But yeah, that him being the kid who has every power as opposed to Static who's just got the one, and him sort of getting drunk on the power, and taking down his dad's own businesses. It's a little bit hardware shtick, but, but through the eyes of the kid trying to impress his dad, or not impress his dad, but get his
Yeah.
dad's love. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a fine episode. You got some cool little fight scenes. Um, I did think it was weird that they kind of emphasized. So eventually, Alva, like, he has his goons, track down Omnifarious, or they're attacking him or something, and he tries to order them to stop attacking because Static says, "Hey, that's your kid." Or no, yeah, Static. First of all, Static tells him that that's his kid,
Right.
and then he attacks, or he comes by, and Alva tries to stop him by calling in his security forces, and then
Yeah.
and then they start attacking Omnifarious, and he's like, "No, stop! That's my son. Don't kill him." And they're like, "No, man, it's him or us." And like, I thought it was weird that they gave kind of a that they gave a moment where Alvin is sort of impotent against his own security force. Like, it just seemed odd that it was like he can't even control his own, you know.
Well, it's interesting because I mean, I guess I think the it's him or us thing is an interesting point, right?
That's fair,
Because
yeah.
yeah, we are thinking about power, and obviously he wields power, like the other version of Elbow, he wields economic and social power over people. But yeah, I
Sure.
mean, I guess he's also not the one that's on the front lines. So
That is,
yeah,
there's that too, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting point, and it also, I guess it does kind of fit with the arc of him, not having the control that he thought he did, and also not being as involved, I guess, as he thinks he is, in
yeah,
a way where he doesn't realize until too late that, like, oh shit, I can't actually control as much as I thought I did. Um, yeah, no, I don't know. It was sort of interesting, but now it's kind of growing on me as a moment. To give him this moment of like, I don't even know what's going on. Yeah.
yeah.
But then all this is, of course, contrasted with Virgil and his dad because Virgil skips out on so many different events, and he's, oh, he keeps showing up late to this and that, and his dad eventually, I did really like the way they did that conversation where eventually his dad is like, look, you don't have to explain yourself, man. Like, I trust you. You're a good kid.
Mhm.
I don't worry about you because you're my son, and I know I've raised you. You've been raised right, and you know right from wrong, and yeah, it was really sweet. I don't know. I liked it a lot. And then
Yeah,
just as he's about to tell his dad, "Oh, hey, by the way, I'm Static," then something blows up and he has to go off in the costume. Which, yeah,
yeah,
um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a sweet little episode. Like, like Tad was saying, like there is this thread in these episodes about responsibility and parenthood, kids, etc., and how we were raised. Um, yeah, if this is the way you were going to do it, obviously, I think this is a good way to do it. I do also love that it's like, oh yeah, let's turn him into a statue at the end because then we can eventually bring it back if we really need to. And I'm sure they do. I haven't really looked it up, but like, of course they're going to bring it back somehow. Um, but yeah, that was given the little statue form, but his eyes are still glowing a little bit at the end. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's okay. It's a fun one.
Yeah.
Not
I
my absolute favorite.
I I think I appreciated most about this something that I don't think has really been brought up, but that Virgil, even as horrible as nefarious as behaving, even as dangerous as is behaving, um, has his first priority to be to save the kid and to
Yeah.
save the relationship between the kid and the father, even though he's not a big fan of the father's.
Yes. Even though he knows
You
the dad
know,
is a criminal.
it's not I need to go beat the shit out of you and throw you in jail. It's, oh, you're a kid, something's messed up. I'm going to try to help you. It didn't all
Which
go right,
I
but
yeah,
that says a lot about Virgil.
right.
Yeah.
Which and I mean and that's a great point in because if we're being real, like superhero stories and comics often do fall into propaganda in the sense that it's like, oh, we got to wrap this up, and the way we wrap this up is the police and arrests happening. But yeah, I think the idea of a superhero, given that the idea of a superhero, considering like all the angles, you know what I mean, and finding an alternative solution is it's cool. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's again, it's Virgil is an easily distracted and kind of fun-loving kid until the chips are down. At which point, he knows right from wrong. He knows what to do. He has yeah, he's a hero. He knows what the right thing is to do, and I do. Yeah, I like him a lot. It is very clear to me. The more we watch this, more and more, it's like, oh yeah, of course they're going to make this into the kids' TV show. He is the most. I don't want to make it like, oh, it's an easily sellable or toyetic thing, but it's like, yeah, of course they're going to make him into a series. He is like you keep saying, he watched so Miles Morales could run, so, or at the very
Mhm.
least, we don't
Yeah.
get Miles Morales without him. Yeah.
Well, I
Um.
also noticed this time around just like how much I mean, I rewatched Into the Spider-Verse with my granddaughter last week,
Hmm.
and it was watching the static here that I went, oh my God, they like totally got the costume.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah. I
the,
mean,
the Into
the
the
TV show
Spider-Verse
costume.
costume is
Yeah.
so much the TV show Static Shock costume. You
Hmm.
know, where it's the
The
super
black
hip
bodysuit.
kid rather than, yeah.
That's
Well,
fair.
but like the t-shirts and the painted on, rather than the
Oh,
big
yeah.
bodysuit and whatnot, it's like I'm gonna
At the
throw on a
same time,
coat
though.
and I've got a t-shirt and
Yeah. Oh,
it's got
yeah.
a
Into
more
the Spider Verse.
DIY
Right.
like
Sorry, I was thinking like what he
cool
has in.
kid.
Yeah, I was thinking more the other one because I mean, the more iconic thing for me with Static is always the baseball cap and the big coat, and even sometimes the
Right.
gloves,
Hmm.
like depending on the version. Um,
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, I was thinking across the second one, this across where it's just sort of
Yeah.
the Spider-Man suit, but yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. But yeah, and actually, okay, this is actually kind of a good transition. Speaking of costume bits, there was a bit in the next episode that I was like, oh, they actually used his costume in a fun way. Because the next episode
Oh
is
yeah.
Replay, which I did not expect to enjoy as much as I did. I thought it was really funny and just like genuinely a great friggin' episode, and I didn't expect it to be. Um, just because I had sort of a immediate negative reaction, and then I started watching like, oh, this is actually really funny. Um, but yeah, this also incidentally, I think this is sort of the beginning of the comeback of uh, blah, 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 Neil Patrick Harris. I
Oh,
think
okay.
because because I mean he's in Doogie Howse when he's a kid, obviously, and then later on he starts getting roles in like How I Met Your Mother and other stuff. But I
Mhm.
think this is one of the first moments where it's him, doing a new role. I think. I do not know that for sure. I'd have to
Could
check
be.
the timing of it. And it's
Yeah.
also a little bit, stunt cast, not stunt casting, but it's alluding to his role where he's playing a character
Yeah.
who was a child star who then got completely ignored. Um yeah, okay.
Wait,
So
quick
he
question.
had
Quick question. Oh, good. Well, you go ahead.
well,
'Cause I don't. Well, can I let me ask you guys a
yeah,
question
go
because
ahead.
this was on my mind. I know you're about to get into the recap, and obviously one
Oh,
of the
sure, sure, sure.
main plot points you're going to bring up is the duplication ability.
Yeah.
Help me remember. I was trying to remember. Is it hardware or or was it static? Like there was an early Milestone issue where there was a duplicating villain. Do you guys
It was
remember?
hardware. It
It was
was like
hardware.
there was like a beach episode,
Well,
like a
he is a
beach.
oh, that's right. But that was
Yeah,
that character was coming back at that point, right? Because I feel like that character had been introduced pretty early.
you're
Okay, but it's not like a version of this. This kid is not a version of that character, right? It's
no,
just
this
the
is a
same.
totally new character as far as I know.
That's what I thought.
No,
Okay, yeah,
and I couldn't even remember the name. It's not because it's not replay. It's like, is it rewind or it's something?
maybe.
I don't remember what that character's name is, but no,
I'll
it's
look
not.
it up later. Okay.
Yeah, same. And it also he looked different, and I think his shtick was that like he was actually plucking different versions of himself from throughout like his personal timeline, which
Oh, that's
means that
interesting.
well, and then I think what happens is when he's fighting hardware, one of him gets killed, and then suddenly it's like, oh shit, whenever my timeline catches up with that dude, I'm gonna die. I want to say that's
Hmm.
what it was. I don't remember for sure, but yeah,
Oh, I gotta go back and read that. That sounds dope.
I yeah,
All right.
I don't remember unfortunately. I gotta recheck it because I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, wasn't there a dude who kind of looked like this or who had similar powers? But yeah, so the reason that I mentioned kind of not liking it at first is because the way that it opened made it feel really clunky because it's okay. We're at the mall. Static and Richie and Daisy are just hanging out at the mall. I do like that. There's one of the stores that's just called the Gape because I thought that was funny. Um, yeah, and then we get to a jewelry store, and some guy who's just like in a t-shirt walks in, and he's like, "Hey, I want to see this watch." And the guy's like, "Okay, yes, this is our fanciest watch. It has a built-in, pager and internet connection." And it's like, "Ooh, wow, fancy." Um, and then he's like, "Well, wait a minute, you're familiar." And he's like, "Yeah, I used to be, this child star who was on the show called Johnny on the Spot, and I did, blah blah blah, and then everyone forgot about me." And it's like, okay, he's just kind of spilling his whole motivation here, I guess. It felt very clunky in a weird way.
It is a Saturday morning cartoon. We want to make
It
sure
is a
the
Saturday
kids
morning
get it right
cartoon,
away. Yeah.
but then that's the thing is that then suddenly it's like, well, then I realized, oh, wait, that's kind of the point because then what happens is two more of him show up, grab the
Right.
jewelry guy by both arms, and then he just robs the dude. And like, it's very funny that it's just like, yeah, I'm just telling you all this just kind of, waste
Right.
time. And then he shows up and starts robbing it. I don't know, for some reason that really cracked me up. Like,
Yeah.
it made me laugh. And it's like, oh, he's literally just sort of killing time to make this happen. Um, and so then, of course, six more of this guy show up, and they start robbing all the stores. Static runs off. He has to. This is the bit where he has to fake food poisoning, and to get away from Daisy. And then he starts fighting Replay, and I do like the gimmick that like Replay doesn't have any powers beyond being the duplication thing. So he's just a normal guy, but there's still like six of him versus Static, so it's actually kind of a fair fight. And I thought that was
Mm.
I don't know I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And at this point, this is another part where I'm like, okay, I kind of see what we're doing. It's like that episode of Batman the Animated Series with the woman who was like an actress who had a weird genetic thing that made it so
Oh
she
yeah.
always yeah,
I remember.
not Sweetie
I
Belle.
watched that not too. Oh no no. Wait. Was that
What's the
Batman? Did you say Batman Beyond or the animated series?
animated series? Animated
It
series.
was the animated. I watched that recently. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, baby doll. Was it
Baby
baby
doll.
doll?
Baby doll.
Baby
Yeah.
doll.
Yeah.
Yeah, where she always looked like a kid, which meant she could only be cast as a kid, and she had this,
Right.
she that's why she turned to crime. I thought they were going to do a thing about him being like a washed up child star, and he was sort of mad about that. But then when he and Static are fighting in like the Hall of Mirrors in the abandoned amusement park, because she always had the abandoned amusement park, their powers like interact and cause a big explosion, and then suddenly when Static wakes up, there's another Static who's got
That
kind
was
of
cool
washed.
how they did that because
Yes.
it was like you could tell that the reflection wasn't matching. They play it like because they're in the Hall of Mirrors and they play it
Yeah.
like
Oh,
Static's
maybe
kind of groggy.
maybe
Yeah,
it's just a
yeah,
reflection, but like the colors are a little desaturated,
yeah,
and
yeah. And
yeah, no,
the movements didn't match.
yes,
Yeah,
and then of course he runs off, and so he's like, oh, that was weird. Um, and then we cut, and then it's like, oh no, this is actually a totally different story, because then we
Yeah,
cut to Richie and Frida hanging out, and or Richie and Daisy, and they're like, hey, there's Static over there. Hey, Static, what's up? Except Static is zapping all the ATMs, so they start spitting money everywhere.
yeah.
And Richie and Richie comes over and he's like, hey, what's going on here, buddy? What are you doing? And Static just like zaps him to a billboard.
Mm.
Um, and this is the other line that actually made me laugh out loud, where Richie's like, "How could you do this to me?" And then we cut to, and then like the camera zooms out. We see there's like five other people stuck to the billboard, and one of them just goes, "He's had a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
practice." Yeah, he's had a lot of practice, and like
yeah.
that's a funny line.
No,
That's
there's a lot of I like some of those little jokes in the side.
yeah, like this episode kind of surprised me because I thought it was doing a simpler thing than it was. Because then, yeah, of course, Bad Static teams up with Johnny Morrow is the character's name.
Yeah,
Um, and they're robbing banks and stuff like that. But then, of course, his big plan is he's going to destroy the TV station that fired him or canceled his show way back when and all that stuff.
yeah,
And of course, this sets up a big fight at the TV station. I mean, the other bit is then there's a bit in the middle where Static is trying to figure out what's going on. Um, yeah, that's right. Johnny finds the little communicator, the shock vox that he and
mm,
Richie have, and he uses that to like call Static. Uh,
yeah,
and that's, I mean, there was another like clever line in here where when Static first picks up, he's like, "Rich?" He's like, "No, I'm not rich, not yet." And
yeah. Not yet. Yeah,
yeah, again, it's like, oh, there's some clever little bits of writing in here I didn't expect.
yeah,
Um, and Static asks Richie to help in tracking this down, and Richie still doesn't realize that there's two Statics, and so he doesn't trust him, but he does trust him enough to kind of fiddle with the shock vox to track the other guy down. Even though he's like, man, you went crazy. You magnetized me to a billboard. What are you doing? And I
mm,
like that there was sort of a weird little tension with them in that scene where he's like
yeah, yeah.
helping him out, but still like, I don't know what you're doing, man. This is weird. Um,
Which real quick, I thought that was pretty cool because on
yeah,
paper you're like you just want Richie to like trust him, but if you think about it, um, yeah, like these guys are like best friends. You trust them, and also if your best friend is a superhero and is like so powerful they could probably kill you without thinking
yeah,
about it, and then all of a
yeah,
sudden one day they go bad,
yeah.
it is going to be traumatic if you went through that and they seem to be wearing your best friend's face.
And also, he points out, like, hey, maybe every Bang Baby goes crazy. We don't know yet. This is completely
Yeah,
new. Maybe you're having amnesia or something, which is, again, kind of reasonable. It's like, yeah, that totally could be happening. We don't know what's going on. This is comic book science, man.
yeah,
But yeah, so Johnny and Bad Static go to the TV studio where all they do is break up the studio set, which I think is kind of funny that that's his big plan.
yeah.
Um, Static comes after and starts fighting him. Richie also manages to sneak in and turn on the TV cameras to broadcast the fight, so everyone realizes like, oh, Static isn't bad; it's this guy. And they catch Neil Patrick Harris in the end and everything, and Bad Static vanishes out of reality, and then everything is fine and dandy. So yeah.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, again, there's like little clever bits of, when Richie first turns on the cameras and tells Johnny that it's being broadcast everywhere. There's this moment where Johnny's like, "I'm on TV again," and then he realizes like, "Oh shit, wait,
Yeah.
no, let's get out of here." And I thought
Yeah,
that
he's
was,
like, I'm on TV. Yeah.
yeah, he's like, "Oh, I get to be on TV again. Oh, wait, crap, I'm trying to kill this guy," which
Yeah.
that's fun. And then what was the other bit? There's yeah, the bit where like when he has Bad Static just like hanging out in his apartment, and Bad Static never talks. Like presumably there's some sort of thing where
Right.
he's not a full copy or whatever. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he takes off Static's mask, and underneath it's just like TV Static.
All right.
Yeah, like it was a weird little moment, and I don't know. It was a funky costume choice to be like, oh yeah, in addition to being evil, also his face doesn't show up normally, and it's just
Yeah.
like TV static. Yeah, that was fun.
Well, yeah, because I guess it also calls to question like how, like he did mention he did describe how he duplicates himself. What did he say? They're like electromagnetic versions of me or something like that.
Not even
Something
he says something, and they are like
early.
they're specifically like just sort of copies. Like he snaps his
Yeah.
fingers and they vanish or poof into or out of existence.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
I think so my interpretation was in the logic of the show and the science of the show. like he can duplicate maybe what he can see. I don't know. But then
Yeah,
again,
that's
it's like he also did have the device, so but
yeah. I mean, again, it's comic book science, but
right, right.
I like the way that his powers and statics interacted. And again, like I thought this was sort of a smaller story than it ended up being. Like I thought it was going to be a story just about Neil Patrick Harris's character, but
Right.
no, it was a funnier story. It was a wackier one. I like that a lot. Oh, that
Yeah.
was, and then also the thing about the costume. I remember I was going to mention the they temporarily create the like anti-static task force, which he has to deal with at one point very briefly and perfunctorily, and they use like tear gas or something, and finally he actually puts on the goggles that he's had on his head like all season.
Yeah.
It's like, oh
Yeah, it was
shoot,
pretty cool.
he has this for a reason. Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, he was
Um,
in the sewer too.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's got to escape through the sewer, riding a manhole by going through a manhole. Yeah, that was yeah. There were some fun bits in that one. This was I don't want to say my favorite episode, but this one was more entertaining than I expected, and I liked what they did with it. So
Yeah.
yeah. And then season finale, Tantrum. Uh, yeah, this
Yeah, so this one really, they've referenced the fact that in this iteration of Static, Virgil has lost his mom,
yeah
which really kind of bums me out because I had to look it up. I was like, well, let me see if like the creators like spoke about it, and I guess and their their reason for this change of his mom being gone is that they wanted to have superhero origin tragedy that tied into the work they do,
mm-hmm.
like Uncle Ben, Thomas and Martha Wayne, all of them.
Oh yeah
But it's like, it's hard for me because I think one of the things that I love about like comic book Static is that his family is important to it. Um,
yes
I mean, even to the extent in the two seasons that DC did give us of the new Static, where I like the idea that his family just knows, and they even like kind of like well, they find out pretty early on, and
yeah
they just help him, which actually kind of makes sense because they are kind of like they are a close knit family, so you would think that, um, yeah, they probably just
they
figured out at
figured
some
it out pretty
point.
quickly. I do
Yeah, so
remember
I think. Oh, just sorry. Real quick, one
yeah
other quick point is like for me, it's just like was also positive, really positive seeing like an intact, black family, specifically, like in the '90s, in a time where the narrative of like broken black families was
yeah
so rampant. And so it was like it was cool, and his mom was like a really important part of the book. His father was too, and there's that issue that we read where his dad was injured really badly, um,
yeah.
but he didn't lose him. So anyway, I love what they do after having made this decision that in this version he has lost his mom, and the reasons they gave was to the Uncle Ben thing, but also to kind of establish why he has so much of a problem with gun violence and
That's okay.
gangs. Yeah,
That's
and which he
okay.
did say, and I want to say in an early episode, he kind of did pretty much just say that.
I
You
was
know
trying
what I
to
mean?
remember like if they had talked about exactly how he lost his mom because I
It
was trying
was
to
it was
remember.
like a line of dialogue. I think he was talking about how his mom was, maybe killed by gangbangers when she was trying to help people.
Oh,
Um,
interesting. Okay.
so
That's
yeah,
yeah,
it was
no,
quick.
that's it is interesting because I was trying to remember and also it wasn't entirely clear to me. I was curious when his mom died because the fact that in this episode they're like, "Oh, we're doing her memorial service." I
Yeah.
wasn't clear like, "Oh, did she die recently or is it just like, oh, it's been
Well,
a
it
year
might
or
be.
whatever?"
So I again, just because I just looked it up
Yeah.
recently, they said I think it's been 5 years in the show, but I
Okay.
read it as like a memorial. Like maybe not
A
the
regular thing.
memorial service, like right when she passed, but maybe just something looking back, like.
Yeah.
Um, but that's the thing that I think really this episode does really well. Like, despite the fact that I'm kind of bummed out that his mom's not in this story, at least as a
Yeah.
living person. She is in the sense that, like, it's framed, even though, yes, he has like some super villain or or antagonist battles and hijinks at school, what this episode is really about is like him having a conversation with his mom. But it's even more so than that. The central theme of this episode is grief and the different ways that we experience it, even in the same family.
Yes.
Because Sharon and Virgil's dad, they're really, they're like, let's they're feeling good, even though obviously they're sad and they got their own grief, but they are enjoying like looking back at these videos of their
Yeah.
mom as they're like putting together a reel essentially for her memorial service, and Virgil just like freaks out in a way
Yes.
that's like totally relatable, because I even think,
It's very relatable. I like that a lot. Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, I stepped on you, but like
No,
that's
no, no. It's all good. I mean, I just wanted that's the main thing. I just wanted to kind of. I mean, you could totally just recap it, but I just wanted to like. I really loved how they handled those themes, because that really is
yeah.
how it is. Like you
It's
experience grief with your loved ones, and but like yeah, not everybody experiences the
grief the same
specific
way.
steps at the same time.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I thought they
yeah,
did a really good job with that. I think that's this is a really solid episode. I'm a sucker for sort of a unconventional, not unconventional, I guess, but like
hmm
I'm a sucker for anything out of the ordinary in terms
right.
of like how it's
Narrative.
presented. Yeah,
Yeah,
and the fact that they've got the framing device of him talking to his mom at her grave, I
yeah,
thought that was really good. Like I liked that a lot. I liked it showing. And then once you get to the end and you kind of recontextualize, oh, it's not just that he's talking to his mom. It's like this is maybe the first time he's kind of talked to his mom like this
right,
in the time since she died. Maybe it's not super clear, but it is a thing where it's like this is a new phase in his relationship. He's a little bit more able to understand and deal with things. And yeah, I liked that element a lot. It is again, like you say, it's a bummer that yeah, his mom's dead in the show. It would have been an opportunity, would have been a nice opportunity to have the complete family, but I think they did as good a job with it as you could do. Yeah, like I think it. If you're gonna have the mom be dead, this is the best way to do it. Um,
right.
that's not maybe that's not exactly what I mean to say, but it's like they deal with it in a really interesting, mature way, and then also they manage to tie it in a little bit to the plot, but not in a way that feels sort of hammy or undeserved. Because of course, watching this video with his mom gives Virgil the inspiration of how he should deal with this week's villain, in a way that feels normal and sort of earned and not like overwrought or anything. And yeah, it's a sweet episode. It's a good note to end the season on. I mean, okay, the actual villain is he shows up first as sort of a purple
Yeah,
Hulk clone who they just call Tantrum. I don't even think they actually call him Tantrum, but like that's
yeah.
I
That's the
guess
name of the episode.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but he's tearing up a restaurant at when we first see him, and Static has to stop him, but he just gets stronger and madder, and eventually just runs away. Um, and then we get a little more context. We see one of Static's and Richie's previously unseen, unnamed classmates named Thomas Kim, who, of course,
Wait, real
looks.
quick, didn't he show up though? I feel like
There was okay. Here's the thing. Like I was trying to remember. We haven't really gotten a whole lot about his classmates. I mean, besides like Daisy and
okay.
Frida, obviously. But like there were the two. There were the twin Asian American boys in the episode.
Uh,
Yeah, I was trying to remember this, and I was thinking about this in that context because I do. I mean, I do feel like having it
you
be
can
the
say it.
narrative. Yeah, having it be the narrative that like, oh, this is the Asian American kid whose parents are like determined that he has to get an A on every single thing is a little like, did you really have to do that, guys? It's not great, but yeah. But yeah, that was the
It's
thing where it's
it's and no, I had very much thought about that. It is a thing that has some grounding in reality, but it's also I almost feel like in a show where maybe you've got multiple Asian characters, this being the case for one of them would be one thing. But like yeah, if
yeah,
it's like your Asian kid. and he's got like the
Because the
classic
dad is so
like
demanding, and he's like, "Who was, what was the deciding event for World War One?" He's like, "Well, the assassination of Archbishop Ferdinand." He's like, "Oh,
right,
what was the name of the assassin?" And it's like,
yeah,
Jesus Christ, guys, it's a little much.
yeah.
So, and I mean, who doesn't know Gavrilo Princip? Come on, um, that's that's a joke.
I
I was
got you.
I I actually okay. I paused the episode like right after the dad asked that question, and I was going to the bathroom, and I was like, "Wait, what is the name of the?" I remember reading it once. There was a
Me
short,
too, but
yeah,
I couldn't pull up the name. I could not
yeah.
remember the name.
I only remember because I also read like a short story. I don't even remember who it was by. That was about like Gavrilo Princip just before the assassination, like getting his fortune read. Was it by Avram Davidson? I don't remember. Anyway, uh, and so like I happened to remember the name. I'm like, oh, that's right, Gavrilo Prince. So I felt very proud of myself for 20 seconds. But
Yeah,
um, but yeah, so the dad is a real hard ass. He wants to make sure and Thomas is like, oh, I look at 99 out of 100. Oh crap, I messed up. My parents are gonna be so mad. And then later that day, the teacher's leaving class or leaving the school, and Tantrum shows up and smashes her car. And at that point, it's you can put two and two together.
oh yeah,
But they also find his test there in the parking lot
right.
afterwards just to make sure we get it. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, and then of course the revelation or the idea that Static gets is like, oh, okay, he's having a tantrum. Let him just kind of tire himself out, and then we can capture him without having to fight him or anything. And because that's what he saw on the tape with his mom. Which, yeah, I mean, it's a cute little way to end it out. I think it worked for what it was trying to do, and I like that it neatly tied together the thing of like him he's accepted the death of his mom enough that he can watch these tapes and sort of look back on her love and realize what she meant to him,
Right.
and then also that just kind of gives him the spark. Is like, oh yeah, that's what I can do. And then we end with that really lovely scene where we have the memorial service, and
Yeah, in the
yeah,
credits.
and the credits, and they're doing
Yeah,
the choir rendition of
how I got over.
how I get over. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
so, God, that was really good. I mean,
yeah.
you
No, yeah. Go. No, you go ahead. Sorry.
no, I got nothing. I mean, this is, yeah, I think I
No,
know.
all I was gonna say is it's really interesting because everything you said is true. Like Tantrum as a villain is not like super compelling, but like
Yeah,
I feel
he's
like
just,
this. But I can't remember what issue of one of our milestone books we were talking about where to me it kind of did a similar thing in the sense that this was like one of my favorite episodes, even though like the villain and villain in quotes, right? Because
yeah,
it's,
the
let's say
antagonist.
antagonist. The antagonist was not super original or compelling, but it's one of my favorite episodes because to me, I feel like this episode is more about the grief
Yeah,
and him like you mentioned, like really working through things enough to like get over that refusal barrier that he was having and actually like speak to his mom,
yeah,
and so it's kind of like it's way more about that than even like who you could have swapped in anybody. You could have swapped in Hot
yeah,
Streak or anything, but I think it needed to be like somebody sympathetic, um because Thomas is sympathetic, like as a character, like he's not um going out smashing stuff, and it even seems like he's not fully aware of what he does
yeah.
when
They
he's
kind of
in
make
that
it
other
clear that he
form.
doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't really know what he's doing. It just
Yeah,
happens, and
yeah,
he wakes up. But yeah.
yeah, which actually is kind of tragic. Yeah, I mean
Oh
it
yeah,
is it is the Hulk essentially, but it's like, yeah, it's messed
yeah.
up.
But yeah, it is used to tell a really good story about that grief and about him. And there's also, I got to say, I really like that bit in the middle where his dad is like, "Look, you don't have to grieve on our schedule, and I'm sorry that I didn't realize that you were still grieving in a way that I didn't sort of notice, not notice, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But like, I liked that was in there for his dad to be like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry that I didn't recognize what was going on here." And then at the end he has kind of had a bit to not get over it, but he's he's in a better place, and I think that's really sweet. And yeah, the Thomas stuff is there to kind of make it all hang together, but it does a fine enough job of that, but also like
Yeah,
it's really good for us being a story about grief and working through things. And yeah, again at the very end, it kind of recontextualizes. It's not just that he's talking to his mom. This is probably like the first time he's talked to his mom's grave, in who knows, maybe
yeah,
ever. And it's a special little talk, and he's admitting everything to her. I mean, she's dead, but like
yeah.
yeah, it was a sweet little episode. It's a really great episode to end the season on. I think this is definitely one of the best of the season. I mean, for good reason. I was gonna look at who wrote this one. I totally blanked on that.
Oh yeah,
I didn't sort of pay attention to who was writing which episodes. Um, but it's yeah, this streak of 3 episodes was really solid. I don't know if I'd say they were my favorites because I did really like the stuff with Eben.
yeah.
Like
I've
obviously,
liked stuff throughout, so it is hard to. It is
yeah,
a little hard to say which is,
yeah.
but
I like the stuff with Eben.
it's
I like
up there.
Rubber
These
Band
are up
Man.
there, though. I think.
Yes, like
Yeah.
especially the bit with his mom and his pet. And again, like replay as an episode, I guess isn't anything that special. It's just that it was sort of unexpectedly funny for me that made me
Hmm.
kind of really get into it. So I don't know what it was. And also, again, I did look it up a little bit. This wasn't like it's not as though Neil Patrick Harris completely disappeared after doing Doogie Howser, but he definitely
Right.
wasn't doing as much. And he was like not he was like guest roles on TV series and had a role on one season of a sitcom that got canceled or whatever. But like this was a nice little nod to that. And then in a few years he started getting some actual bigger roles and doing more stuff. And I thought that
Yeah,
was
I thought it was Harold and Kumar that really started to
that's right. Yeah,
massively launch his comeback.
yeah. Especially because I
And
mean
then How I Met Your Mother.
yeah okay because it's also
Though he
well
did do
also
some Broadway in there too.
yes his singing stuff started taking not taking off but
Yeah.
the fact that he was doing more with music I think made him when he showed up as this was much later, but like when he shows up in Batman Brave and the Bold as the music meister or things like that. Yeah, it's good to see him coming back. It reminded me
Oh,
again a little bit.
interesting. John. Sorry, John. John Show is Tantrum.
Who? Oh, John
John
Cho.
Show.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. I mean, it's
Interesting.
I had no idea that. I wonder what else he had done by
Harold
that
and
point.
Kumar.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You just brought that
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
I know.
God, what a coincidence. Then Camille and Johnny is no, I'm just yeah. No, that's interesting. That's wild coincidence. Um, the I I had something else.
Also, I mean, this might be more of a black fact, but like Vernie Watson, who played Will's mom on The Fresh Prince, is Virgil's mom.
Okay, yeah. I had forgotten to check on who played her. That's interesting. Oh, who played Daisy's or yeah, Daisy's sister or sister mom.
Oh, was her mom? I thought it was a mom, but hold on a second. That's a different episode, right? But that
I remember
was
thinking her design was sort of interestingly I mean it wasn't anything super complex, but they put effort into her being sort of an interestingly visible character and then I was like she never showed up again after that like one scene. Thought maybe they'd bring her
yeah,
back somehow, but
yeah. I mean, you would think they will because they did kind of make a point.
yeah. I just was
Um,
curious who voiced her. I'm going to look that up real quick.
yeah.
Um, yeah, God, geez, John Cho. Um, Daisy Watkins.
Yeah, I'll see them
I
all.
don't. Is nobody listed for her? That's weird. Huh. That's weird. I'm
Uh,
not actually seeing anyone listed as her actress, unless I
yeah.
missed something. Huh. Well,
All
whatever.
right. Well, yeah. We can
Yeah,
look it up later.
mystery of the ages or whatever. But yeah, it's this is a really yeah again I mean this we've said it several times but like yeah really good episode really good end of the season um yeah I don't know man seeing what they did here it's not hard to see why Static was popular enough to last for these 4 seasons I'm looking forward to see what they do with more of it especially because I do like I already went into it knowing that like Rubber Band Man shows up as a reformed possibly not totally reformed but possibly totally
Mhm.
reformed but as a character with a different sort of take on the whole heroism thing um
Yeah.
so I'm looking forward to seeing more of that stuff I don't know what else I'm trying to think what else I had heard about Static Shock before I'd seen it because I hadn't actually heard that much about it as a series and I never watched it when it was coming out um like I was kind of not I was kind of beyond cartoons at that point, but like
Yeah, it came out at a weird time for me because it was
Yeah,
also like it was early enough where you kind of had to be in front of the TV to see something.
yeah,
So I think whatever, like, yeah, I mean, I was I was in my 20s, so it was like, I wasn't, yeah, I just wasn't watching cartoons on Saturday mornings, and then on top
yeah.
of it, yeah, I just
Was
missed
it a
it.
Saturday morning or was it
I
a
don't know. It might have been. I
weekday
think it
afternoon?
was. That's a good question.
Though with
I'm not
only
sure.
13 episodes, that feels more likely to be a weekend.
Yeah,
Because
I
the
think so.
weekday afternoons tended to have longer seasons because they were doing 5 episodes a week.
Yeah,
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 good
yeah, yeah.
point.
You would have had
It's
more episodes. Yeah.
I don't know if I
Right.
looked it up. Anyway, um, but yeah, it's really solid. I mean, it's building off of sort of the success of stuff like building off the success of Batman. Kids WB programming block that was Saturday morning and weekday after school. It didn't actually say specifically. Whatever.
Okay. Well, it
Um,
might have gotten syndicated.
yeah. Okay. And okay, season two is when it starts being part of the DC animated universe. So that'll be interesting to watch when that
Hmm.
comes in. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely crosses over with more things.
And that's like I remember him. I mean, I remember him showing up in Justice League, like an older Static when they did the time travel episode, and
Hmm.
maybe some other stuff. But like, I don't remember. I didn't. Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, like I said, I wasn't watching at the time. So no, I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to seeing where it goes. I am looking. I'm glad to be getting back to the comics, but like, this is a good adaptation, and it does a lot of good stuff. And I like that they had this opportunity to do a slightly different version of Static that still had the same heart.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. Uh, yeah. Anything else you want to say, or are we just gonna move on to the
No, I just think it's interesting. I kind of like jumping back and forth because, like you said, I mean, I think you just put it really well, right? Like it's still Static at its heart, but it's like I appreciate this for this lighter, version, but then it's like when you go back to the comics, it's like, oh damn, Static gets dark,
yeah? Static gets
Not
dark. Static gets mature.
yeah,
Static has
I guess not
sex.
unlike me, growing up on Spider-Man's Amazing Friends and then reading Spider-Man comics and being like, holy shit, like
Yeah,
there's
I
like
never.
everything is happening in these comics. Like,
That's true. Yeah, I remember I had a similar. I mean, for me, it was watching the X Men cartoon and then
yeah,
reading
yeah,
the
yeah.
X Men comics. Be like, man, I got no idea what's going on here.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I think
Yeah, there you go.
no, I've talked to the friend about that where it's like some of the like the people a lot of people I know who love comics, like their formative experience with comics was like picking up something we had no idea how to read, and it was like the middle of an event or the middle of a storyline or whatever, and we had no clue what was going on, but it was sort of compelling enough that we got with it. And then
Yeah.
maybe years later we find out like, oh, that was actually a really crappy like event, or like, oh, this all kind of sucked, or this is a bad writer or whatever, but still somehow it got us hooked enough.
No, I feel really fortunate for when I came in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm just old enough where, um, like, and I'm not being hipster about this, but just that where like, it was I got into X-Men before the anime series was even a thing,
Sure.
because it was like 80 something. I was very young, but it was like Silvestri and Claremont,
Oh yeah.
and that shit just blew my mind. And then I, went back and would read the older Claremont stuff, So that's the reverse.
Yes.
Whereas with
No.
Spider-Man, I came in with like kind of the campiest version of it, and then I got the hardcore, uh, you know, Craven ending himself and
Oh God, you started out like Craven's Last Hunt.
no, I
Wow.
didn't. No. When when I started, well, I became a regular reader. No, I remember exactly when I became a regular reader. It was an issue. Todd McFarlane was just starting. I had read stuff before
Ooh,
that, but like this was me because I had a subscription at this point, so I was getting every issue,
sure.
and it was an issue where Venom does not appear like fully, but at the end, like Mary Jane comes home and
Oh
she's like,
yeah. Okay.
"Hey, honey," blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden, like, you just see this hulking Spider-Man looking figure, and she's just like
Terrified.
petrified, and she's like in the
Yeah.
corner of the room. Yeah, and that is like shortly after the Craven stuff, which I had read that too. Yeah,
Okay,
So
that's fascinating. Yeah, I mean, for me, it was I picked up a random issue of X-Men. This would have been like the Jim Lee drawn, I
okay.
guess. Fabian Nicieza. I actually don't remember who wrote that one issue,
Oh, okay, okay.
but it was like in the it was the relaunched X-Men. It was the adjectiveless X-Men, and
Right, right,
it was
right.
in the middle of stuff about like Psylocke and like her weird backstory and
Oh
Spiral and Mojo, and there's
man.
so much like, wow, this is a weird bit of continuity,
It's
It's
funny you mentioned that because even when I was a kid, like I picked up most of the stuff. I mean, obviously there's stuff I go back and I get a little bit more out of it now as an adult. But I picked up most of it. But the Psylocke Siege Perilous thing, I
oh
was like,
man.
what? What the hell is? And I liked it. I was like, well, at least she's got a cool design and a sword. But like,
Yeah, she's a ninja now. Cool. Yeah.
yeah, but the how we got there, like I read
Yeah.
it, but I was also like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I don't know this character that she's getting merged with, and I don't quite get how the merging works. I actually
Yeah.
saw a breakdown of that recently on a YouTube thing, and I was like, oh, that's what it was.
I I had an issue. I think one of the issues that I had was like Wolverine has a conversation with her at one point where it's like, yeah, it's weird how you got all mixed up
Yeah,
with this Quanon character. And she's like, you partly shared memories, but also partly swap bodies. It's like, okay, I
very
guess.
natural, very
As like
natural.
12-year-old
Yeah,
old me, I'm like,
yeah, yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Yeah, it
man,
was just
comics.
weird.
It's comics is like the way that you get into it. A friend of mine, it's like he also talks about like getting into pro wrestling, and it's a very similar thing where you watch some random episode,
Yep.
and it's like, oh, I'm gonna get you back for what you did to me in SummerSlam, whatever, And it's like,
Yeah,
oh, it's this massive soap opera, and it's so compelling, and it's like, oh,
yeah.
it's all complete nonsense that they're just making up as they go along.
Yeah, but they also do, they do they did really cool stuff. Like I
That's
said, I've
true,
been
and
I've been I've been making my way slowly through the Claremont run. Like I'm reading
oh
the like
yeah,
full Claremont run because I've never read the whole thing.
oh
And
yeah.
it's just it's really good, like what they were doing.
I mean, it's not quite the same thing, but it's similar. A few years back, I sat down and read the entire Grant Morrison Batman run, and
Oh,
like,
oh, I
because
should do that too, yeah.
well, and Morrison, does it through Batman and then through Final Crisis and Batman and
Right.
Robin and the Return of Bruce Wayne and like six other series, and they're
Yeah.
bringing in stuff from eight different sort of continuities, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's sort of a whole other thing, but it's a similar idea where it's like one person getting to do something for years and build up this
Hmm.
massive set of continuity bits that can tie together. That's
Is that just out of curiosity, is Morrison Batman collected in volumes, or do you just have to kind of piece it together?
I want to say it's collected mostly in like because they were doing main Batman or Detective Comics, I guess, for a long time. So that's mostly collected as like specifically Grant Morrison collections because there are a few random issues in between it that are fill-ins by somebody else that
Mm.
you know they don't collect in those. And then they did a bunch of stuff that I guess is more like mini series, like Batman and Robin. I think is 12 issues, or there's like two different 12 issue series, and then Return of Bruce Wayne is a limited series and stuff like that. So there's the main Batman series they do, which is mostly collected as itself, and then I think they did a bunch of mini series largely, which
Okay.
are then collected again as themselves.
All right.
I
Tad, if you were talking to us, we couldn't hear you.
Oh
Oh,
God, has Tad been
unless
muted the
he's on
whole
the
time?
phone, or maybe
Oh,
he's.
I was wondering. He's
I
like
think I think I think he's on the phone.
even for Tad, he's being kind of quiet tonight.
Yeah. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
All right.
he's good. All right, he's good here. He's on the camera.
Okay. Um.
But yeah, this was fun. I'm glad we took this opportunity to to watch the static episodes because that's again I didn't have the chance to see those. It's good to see a slightly different take on them.
Can you hear
And
me now?
Yeah. Now
yeah,
we can hear
hey,
you.
hey,
Yeah.
Dad,
Yeah.
how you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what happened there. No,
Okay.
what I was trying to say is there are actually three Batman by Grant Morrison
Oh,
omnibuses,
volumes.
Okay.
hardcovers.
Okay.
Oh, an omnibus. Okay, all right. Because I have a
Yeah,
bunch of the like
I mean
trades.
they're also available as like the trades and stuff, but like
Yeah, yeah. I actually loaned my copies of some of the trades to a friend of mine.
similar to the omnibuses that we've been reading of Milestone only in hardcover. There are three Morrison
All right.
Batman.
All right. I might. Oof. I'm about to move. I
Omnibuy.
probably don't want to have to move that crap with me.
No, you probably want to wait until after you
Yeah, after the
move.
move.
Just a just a
Yeah.
recommendation here.
Yeah. But yeah, this I would look forward to getting to those as well. But yeah, this was a fun little interlude. I'm glad that we did this. In between Milestone volumes 5 and 6, if
Yeah.
there is I don't actually know how far 5 goes. Um, but if there is anything more, that would be another cool thing to do. But
There's some stuff in 5 I'm really looking forward to reading. I
yeah,
flipped through it, but yeah.
it's on the table over there, and I don't want to have to walk over there with a busted ankle. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into the comics, and yeah, maybe we'll hit season 2 at some point too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what's up next on the chopping block, as it were?
What is next is the miniseries. My Name is Holocaust
Oh, is
by
that
Okay.
Ivan Velez and
Okay, cool,
Tommy
cool.
Lee Edwards.
ooh,
Nice.
all right.
Yeah.
Wait, who Ho.J. Anderson did some miniseries. Was that the one
He
about
did he did Wise Son.
Okay, Why Son? That's right. Okay, I couldn't
Yeah.
remember.
Oh wait,
Okay,
we didn't talk about that, did we? Because I read that in the last year because I picked up the issues.
was it? Wait, was it in that volume? Was it in that omnibus?
I don't know if
I
it's
think
in there,
we've done
but
Wise. I don't think we've done Wise Son yet.
Oh, okay.
okay.
I
I'm
am looking through to see if it's in this current omnibus.
Yeah. I picked it up pretty affordably on eBay.
hmm,
Yeah,
Um
I'm betting that it's an omnibus 5 because it is not an omnibus 4.
wait. I thought this was omnibus 5.
yeah, wait,
No,
5
this
is
is
coming.
we're compendium 4 is what we're about to start reading. 5 is
Oh.
coming out soon. What I sent you was 4.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I
okay,
got
okay.
listeners. I got a gigantic box in the mail a while back. That
Yeah,
was
thank you.
yeah. No, thank you so much, Ted. But good God, I
Marcus, you should if you have it nearby, you should show and like
Oh, it's
Ted.
downstairs. Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't do something this cool for you, Ted, but I had to for Marcus. Marcus got a hardware number 1.
Yeah, signed.
Um, well, signed and remarked by Dennis
ooh,
Cowan,
Yeah,
damn,
yeah, yeah.
cool.
No, I'm always gonna keep it. You know.
because
That's cool.
Dennis was at um C2E2. So
Cool.
Nice.
yes, Wise Son the White Wolf is part of omnibus number 5.
Okay.
Omnibus 5 will be in stores on July 21st.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
So
interesting.
so
I
while
want to
while we
say
will
I want to say that might be the last one because I get the
yeah.
feeling
No,
the
because it also has some stuff never published, including the Zombie Hanukkah special.
Okay.
oh wow, that sounds
Huh.
wild. I'm looking
Right.
forward to that.
It's
Yeah.
interesting because the White Wolf definitely it was almost like the Vertigo to DC. Like they did and said more in that than they even did in the regular Milestone. And regular Milestone like went
Yeah.
places, but it was just a
Right.
little bit more violent and a little bit more like the content was a little bit more explicit.
Well, and I think it was after the regular milestone because the order that it puts it for in the listing for volume 5 is Blood Syndicate 33 to 35, Hardware 39 to 50, Heroes 1 to 6,
Right, which is the miniseries that took over after Shadow Cabinet.
Icons 38 to 42, and then Milestone Forever 1 and 2, Static 32 to 45, and then Static Shock Rebirth of the Cool
Mm.
1 to 4, Static Shock Special number 1, and then Wise Son the White Wolf numbers 1 to 4. So I think remember there was like early 2000s right around the Static miniseries. They did a
Yeah,
handful
that was
of
the first rebirth of Milestone
right.
after
So
several.
so that will be included in the volume 5. But
Gotcha.
Oh.
we're just about to start volume 4.
Oh, Rebirth of the Cool is in there too, you said.
Yeah.
How
Okay.
I wonder how many times has Milestone been brought back, quote unquote? Is it more or less
Well,
than like Futurama?
I would
I
say probably less. Only because they were like we've just been clamoring for it, fans have, and then
yeah,
there just was so
weird
much
little
right
scraps.
stuff to get worked out. That was a big
Yeah,
thing. And then, McDuffie passed. Obviously he was still around to do do Milestone Forever, you
Right.
know,
But
which
that was seen as sort of a
I'm
wrap up. But yeah.
yeah, yeah, and but I mean, I think it was a wrap up because we weren't necessarily there wasn't really a lot of hope of us getting it like revitalized. So, and at the time, I really enjoyed it. Actually, I'm gonna go back and read it now that I'm thinking about
I'm gonna go back and read it too. I
it.
don't remember anything about much of anything about it. Yeah. But yeah, so next time we start in on what's the next actual chunk we're reading from volume 4?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said. The my
Oh,
name is
oh,
one
my
to
name is
Oh,
five.
that's right,
Holocaust.
Holocaust.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right. Okay, cool.
yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we went off on a tangent from there, but
Hey,
Yeah.
yeah.
unsurprising,
No,
Right.
totally unsurprising. But
well, cool.
but
All right. Well, then, yeah, that's next
so
on the block, I guess. Nice.
all right. So all righty. For the Brothers Anderson No Relation, this has been 22 panels in the Milestone Book Club. We will see you after the next page.